Welcome to the Sweet Life in Paris walking tour. We'll be taking a one-day tour of some of the best locations mentioned in the book by David Lebovitz, all related to dessert. At each location, you're encouraged to stop and sample some of the wares offered at each location in order to fully experience each location. Feel free to pause this tour at any time or to stray from the schedule outlined here in order to see any other sites you want. Enjoy! The first site we're going to visit today is De Beauve et Galley, a former pharmacy turned expensive chocolate shop, which shows Chocolat de Santé. You'll recognize it by its dark green and gold exterior. When chocolate was first introduced to France in 1615, it was seen as a medicine, much like coffee. These small pistolets, or small discs of chocolate, were bought and sold for health purposes, along with hot chocolate. Invented by the doctor of Marie Antoinette, it was a royal treatment until the 19th century, when it became available for the masses. At De Beauve et Galley, you can still buy these pistolets, along with many other treats that are for pleasure, not for health, such as millefeuilles, florentines, chocolate-covered almonds, and courtisans. Be warned, getting a taste of history isn't cheap. Opt for a small 8-piece box of pistolets, each flavored with paprika, coffee, or another interesting flavor, to satisfy your sweet tooth without breaking the bank. However, larger boxes are also available if you want to be really healthy. Our next stop is Jeu de Tout, a specialty baking store. To get there, continue down Rue Vivienne, take a left onto Rue Etienne Marcel, then a slight left onto Rue Tiquetonne, and the store will be on your left, which you'll recognize by its red awnings and large block letter signs. The name is a play on words, originating from the French phrase J'ai de tout, which means I have everything, and has the same pronunciation as the name of the store. The store contains basically any rare ingredient, including peanut butter, that you can't find anywhere else in Paris. Its shelves are jam-packed with goods, and almost as full of people, trying to buy some of these rare goods. You can find 5 types of red tomato sauce, at least 10 different types and brands of tin sardines, an entire shelf of pickles, a table of cellophane-wrapped caramels and candies, a top shelf lined with cocktail mixers, canned kiwis and pineapples, 15 different kinds of fruit jams, endless flavors of nougat, not to mention more standard cookies, cake decorations, whole grain versus all-purpose flour, and more. An optional departure from the tour is available here. Jeu de Tout is very close to Les Halles, which used to be the epicenter for food in Paris. Les Halles were replaced in 1971 with the Forum des Halles, which is less focused on food and more on chain stores and Next we have Patrick Roger, a world-renowned chocolatier. You'll be crossing the river to get there, so make sure to take advantage of the fantastic views. To get there, turn onto Rue Rambuteau, take a right onto Boulevard de Sébastopol, and continue to Pont au Change. Continue across onto Pont Saint-Michel, take a right onto Place Saint-Michel, left onto Place Saint-André-des-Arts, then go straight until you see the store. Don't worry, this is the longest walk we have today. Once you get there, you'll be welcomed by a black interior and exterior with accents of Patrick Roger's signature color, neon turquoise, and a large chocolate sculpture in the front window. The chocolates are displayed in perfect rows and seem too perfect to touch, let alone eat. The owner and founder, Patrick Roger, holds the title of one of the meilleurs ouvriers de France, a member of the elite corps of chefs that are considered the very best at their craft. David Lebovitz actually did a petit stage or internship here, and spent most of his time confusing which name went with which flavor, since, as you can tell, the chocolates are very hard to tell apart. Make sure to get a sample box here, in order to get a wider variety of their chocolates. You'll find ginger, cardamom, lime juice, and many other different combinations you wouldn't even think of. Patrick Roger is frequently visited by locals as well, hinting that the quality is some of the best that you can find. Our last stop of the day is Patisserie Vinoise, one of the best and least known places to get a cup of hot chocolate in Paris. To get there, take a right onto Rue Hautefeuille, then a left onto Rue d'École de Médecine, and the shop will be on your left. Careful, you might miss it. Just as Leibowitz describes in his book, the road is narrow even for Parisian standards, and don't forget to watch for the buses. Once you manage to squeeze your way inside, you'll be greeted by a clean, bright pastry case displaying their goods, which contrasts to the darker and older interior. The walls are decorated with old posters and signs from around Paris, such as old movie and event posters, advertisements, and old photographs of the city. The hot chocolate, as promised, is fantastic. Not as thick as that found at Angelina or any of the other more stereotypical Parisian hot chocolate places. The hot chocolate is dark and bitter, lightened with a large spoonful of unsweetened chantilly cream and a couple optional sugar cubes they give you when you order, as if it were coffee instead of chocolate. While not for those who don't like dark chocolate, this beverage doesn't sit in your stomach or weigh you down. Equally as fantastic were the pastries, especially the fraisière, which is a narrow, cream-filled cake with cross-sections of strawberries inside as well. If you're hungry after our trek today, the store also sells more substantial sandwiches alongside their fantastic pastries. You'll see locals meeting up for lunch or perusing their daily newspaper over a cup of the hot chocolate, making you feel like you've really found one of the hearts of Paris. I hope that your walk around some of the best chocolate and dessert-related sites in Paris has left you full of information and desserts. For even more locations, check out David Lepovitz's blog and/or book, both of which include some of his favorite recipes along with locations. The food in Paris is what sets it apart in history and in present times from the rest of the world, and the only real way to learn about it is to taste it yourself. Paris has always been viewed as the epicenter of culture in Europe, or even the world, food included. In the States today, haute cuisine nearly always refers to French-style fine dining, with all 7 courses. The locally sourced fresh ingredients movement that first took root in San Francisco was also based on the French tradition of cooking with fresh local produce. The concept of a restaurant was also created in France. Items considered luxurious, such as red, rich wines and oozing goat cheeses, are also French in origin. It was in medieval France that the concept of dessert, first called issue de table, was first created, so it's really no wonder that some of the best desserts and chocolates are found here today, as you can see now that you've finished the tour. France, and its food, has been a fixation for Americans for as long as we've been a nation, a tradition that continues to this day. Whenever we know someone who's gone to France, the first thing we ask them about is the food. Now that you've completed this tour, you'll be able to give them some pretty good answers.